All right, welcome to GEG New Jersey, the November event. I am your host tonight, Kim Mattina, and we have with us tonight Mr. Bruce Reicher from New Jersey, another fellow New Jersey teacher. And Bruce is going to be talking to us about WeVideo and how he uses media in the classroom. And he's going to touch a little bit about his new book, Scripted. So welcome to the GEG November group event, Bruce.
No, thank you so much for having me. I know we had this planned a couple of months ago, and there was a weird day in New Jersey, I think in the summer, where nobody had power. All the power.
It was August.
August, right?
Yeah, so, it was August.
I'm glad.
I was remembering what storm that was. It was Hurricane Isaias. I think that's what it was.
Right, it was the one that nobody could pronounce, and I just remember looking out my window here, and all of a sudden, when the 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds, you see all the everything like twirling, like in your backyard. And luckily, we didn't. I'm in northern Jersey. We didn't lose power, but most of the state did. And then I remember being outside and calling you and saying, "It's not looking good," because GEG New Jersey, when most of New Jersey doesn't have power. That's it's not going to be a good thing. But
no,
I'm excited that I'm here tonight, and this is going to be a WeVideo for beginner. But at the same time, just within the past month, WeVideo came out with new exciting features. So I'm also going to be showing those off tonight. So even if someone is a WeVideo user, cropping and collaboration are the big two new ones we'll be showing tonight.
Oh, I love the cropping tool. I tweeted about it the other day. It was so convenient. I love it, love it, love it. Awesome.
My school district got Chromebooks 4 years ago, and we switched from iMovie, because we had iPads beforehand, to Chromebooks. And I'm not exaggerating. For 4 years, I've been requesting the cropping tool because when kids go out and shoot with, like, we use little Canon Handycams, most of them, and they're in 8th grade, which is fine, they shoot with so much headroom, a room like above your head. There was never a tool in WeVideo to crop it tight like you would crop a picture on your phone. You could kind of have it go in a little bit, but then it would be a little pixelated. So 4 years later, I'm excited. And that's one good thing about WeVideo among any things, is they do listen to their users, the education people, and they do come out with new features, all the time. And they came out with 2 big ones with cropping, and we'll go through the real-time collaboration too, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that was awesome too. I was involved in that too and played around with that. That was awesome. But let's stop talking about that and get into your presentation, because I know you have a lot to talk about. So I know tell us a little bit about, what your role is in education, and then we'll go right into your presentation, because, I know what you do, but people out there may not know. So it would be nice for them to know what kind of teacher you are there.
Sure. I'm Bruce Reicher, if we've never met before, and I've been a teacher for 26 years, and the last 14 years I've been a computer apps teacher in Upper Saddle River, northern New Jersey, 172, all the way at the end of the state and the Parkway. And I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I teach digital leadership in 6th grade, Python coding in 7th, and then 8th grade, luckily enough, TV production. And until pre-COVID, we had built a TV studio in our school, and we had been doing a live TV show for 12 years, running straight every single morning to go in and have the 8th grade kids do a live show. And the past 4 years, once we switched to Chromebooks, every single application, Google Earth at the time, there wasn't a website for it, was the only other one. We couldn't find anything for video production similar to iMovie. So we switched to WeVideo, and the rest is history. And now, living in remote world in COVID, where my students are not in my classroom, we really rely on WeVideo, because the show is a weekly instead of a daily show, and that's where they produce all the content.
Yeah, you shared a lot of your end products out on Twitter, and you use Weekly to curate everything. And a lot of the videos, like, I was so surprised how interactive they are, and the special effects. And then that really got me into WeVideo. So I'm really excited that you're going to share about it, because there's people in the chat right now saying, you know, they're new to WeVideo. So, you know, it's paying it forward and, you know, let's all learn together while we're under this, you know, under the circumstances of how we're teaching. So it's just another ed tech tool to have in your tool belt during this time. So
I have two things I'm going to share tonight with you, Kim, and everybody else. One is a slideshow, and I know you're going to put the bit.ly and the chats and the YouTube chat and Facebook group, and that's for everybody to have. And then the second part tonight, I'm actually going to open up my own school WeVideo and go through the tools and also show you. I'm in the middle of putting together this week's show. So actually go to the features that are going to be in this week's show and how I would upload it and you know, put it together if somebody wanted to do something like that. So I'm going to go to my tab here and go to the present mode. And can you see that okay, Kim, the slideshow?
yes, I could see your slideshow.
Okay, perfect. So this is me and breicher@gmail.com, on Twitter @breicher. And on the bottom of every slide, even if we have people joining us late, that's the bit.ly for the whole slideshow. Okay, so even if people come in a little bit late, I learned that a while ago to do it either on a master slide in Google Slides or just put it on the bottom of the screen. So if people walk in late in conferences or even something like this, they can actually see, you know, see the presentation. So if you've never used WeVideo before, here's a nice slide from WeVideo on why schools would use WeVideo. So they go through the advanced features that they have. I'm going to show you tonight how to do green screen without a green screen. They have templates built in. It's collaborative, and now it's really collaborative that you could do real-time video editing with more than, they said it's unlimited, but you know, 3 or 4 people at a time editing the same piece. Mobile learning, it's totally safe. It does have a real connection with Google Apps for Education, that it connects right to your Google Drive and also Google Classroom. And of course, there's Teacher Admin where you can go in and you know, create groups and also see everything. It's important to know, and I'm going to show you the place where you could sign up 30 days for free if your school district doesn't have it. Everything I'm going to show you is in the full version. There is a light version where they let you use the tools until you export them. So you're going to want to sign up under the education version. So at least you get 30 days free, and you'll be able to use you know, all of these tools. Here's a little bit about the WeVideo ecosystem, and this is really important. And this is where a lot of high schools that use Adobe or Final Cut, real high-end video editing platforms in their school, many of them have switched to WeVideo because WeVideo works on any device, whether it's your phone, iPad, Chromebook, PC, Mac. It will work on every device, and you can also import in any video or audio file that you want. It doesn't have to be like an MP3 or a JPEG or a GIF. It could be any type of file, and it will work you know, on their ecosystem. Here are the 2 different modes for WeVideo. I always think of the storyboard mode as more elementary. If you're going to use it with students, you know, kindergarten through 3rd or 4th grade, it limits them what they could do and actually sets up a storyboard. And then most people are in the timeline mode, grades 4 through 5 up to grade 12. And that's more like gives you tracks, unlimited tracks. There's more that you could do with it. However, think of this, if you've ever used in the past, like Inspiration or one of those programs, what you see in the storyboard mode, if you switch it to the timeline mode, it's the same exact content. You could just do a lot more with the timeline mode. Again, it's 4th or 5th grade up to 12th. The storyboard mode limits the students, but you might want them to be limited in what they could put into their video.
You know, that's interesting that you mentioned that, Bruce, because like I'm always in the timeline mode because I think it defaults to that. Well, at least in my profile, it does. But I like that you had said that the storyboard mode, you know, you would consider that more for elementary use rather than, you know, using the timeline mode because, you know, I didn't really pay attention to that was even an option. Like I just go right into timeline mode. So that's just another tip there that I just learned from you that, you know, I can pass along to the teachers at the elementary schools. So that's a good tip.
I'm also going to share with you when I go in the live demo, there actually is a snowman or hamburger or whatever you want to call the 3 lines on the top left.
Just the 3 lines. Come on. Just the 3 lines.
It's a snowman, whatever it is. But it lets you switch between those 2 different modes. And also, I'll show you, there's a couple of other little features in there that you can go back in time, just like you could in a Google Doc, to see previous edits. And WeVideo does autosave, but I also suggest you go in there and you can, you know, quick save yourself just to make sure, especially, you know, if you're working on a big project. And WeVideo points out this is also, it is adaptive, that you can differentiate it out. And again, everything you do in the storyboard mode, I'm thinking of like 4th or 5th grade students, even if you started them in that, and then you went, I'll say the 3 lines for you, Kim, to the 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, you could switch to the timeline mode and the content is exactly the same. Here is the variety of different projects, and WeVideo doesn't really want to be just like a newscasting product. It wants to be used in everything. So these bullets just give you tons of different examples, whether you're doing book reports, slideshows, claymation, go 1 frame at a time, school news, all of these different things. And I'm going to show you other examples, but here are 2 examples. I'm not going to play, but a personal narrative and also a book trailer. And even for simple things like exit tickets, you can use WeVideo to do an audio or a video exit ticket. And maybe that's something that's a little bit different than just having the students tell you what they learned or writing it down. Make it a little bit more, you know, multimedia. And again, whatever hybrid people are in, if you're remote, this is awesome because all the kids can log on through their Google account or Microsoft account, and you're able to see everything that you do. But here's really the breadth of, it's really just whatever your imagination and your curriculum is driving you towards. You could do any of these types of projects, you know, in WeVideo. And this is before WeVideo also had podcasting. So think of it along with video projects. You can also use it just for audio podcasts, and it will export out as an MP3 file. WeVideo will for podcasts. Here's how you can capture different media from your phone, tablet, Chromebook camera. At one point, a lot of us used SD cards, especially if you're in school. You can upload from anything, whether it's an SD card or a built-in or external camera. And mainly for my students, we upload and download in and out through Google Drive. And WeVideo lets you, you know, upload things to 12 different places, but we mainly go into Drive or upload from Drive and then go back out to Drive. If you are a high school teacher, it gives you a lot more options. You could go directly to YouTube, directly to a lot of online storage places. It doesn't have to be just to Drive, but that's a little bit about capturing media. And here's the essence of uploading your media. That's what the window looks like. You can drag and drop in any type of file you want, but you see highlighted there on the bottom left is the Google Drive symbol. But notice it also gives you those other familiar symbols if it's Facebook or YouTube or different cloud storage. It can also upload files, you know, from there. And here, when you go in to create, and we'll do this from scratch when I do the demo, here are the 3 options that it gives you. Private would be only for yourself. A shared project would be only members of the group would see it. The shared project is the new tool that they upgraded about 3 weeks ago, that now more than 1 student at a time can edit in the same project.
Have you used it yet, Bruce?
Yeah, it works flawlessly. I've tested it out with a couple of people, and they just show up as additional users. And, you know, I was working on the text tool. Someone else was working on video. Someone was working on audio. And it works very easily. And I have to say that was probably the #1 most annoying thing, like for my students, is if they were in a group, it would literally block you in the past if you weren't the person that was editing it. And you would have to wait for them to quit before the next student could go in and edit.
That's so 1980s.
Right? Exactly. I mean, it was the number right behind cropping. Really, it was the #1 requested feature, that people had. And then the third type of project you could do, this is more of like the teacher sharing all the assets with everyone, and then everybody works by themselves. So if you were a social studies teacher and doing a project on the 1920s and you wanted everyone to use the same 50 pictures, you could share those pictures out to your class, and then those students would only be able to use the media you shared with them. And I think that's kind of an underutilized project that people do, but it has its place. And I think of that more too, if I'm that elementary teacher, maybe, and I only want the students to use specific pictures or video clips, I would share it out to them and say, I need you to use at least these media clips I'm sharing with you in your project. And it kind of keeps them focused a little bit, is a third option for shared media. And I think that one is the most underutilized one out of the three that we're looking at. If you start it as private or personal, you can also change it to be shared. So it doesn't always have to stay just for a personal, one person working on it. WeVideo has tons of templates, and they keep adding more templates. I like going to the templates to get different ideas for projects. The templates have, as we'll take a look later, all the tracks are filled up with all different things. And it's almost easier sometimes just to start with a blank slate and build out your own project. However, the templates are good to give you different ideas. See, they even have one for like a meme, now mini lessons, graduation at the time. If you do morning meetings, some of these might be a fit for a lot of people. I have one more slide on them too, of different things that you can get ideas from. Do a scientific method, capture the video of your science project to actually show this is what I'm going to hand in for my lab visually, instead of writing it maybe in the traditional way. That shows how the scientific method could be done. And of course, morning announcements, they give you ideas and different tips. One of the biggest things that I really like about WeVideo, and again, this is in the paid version, is it has a searchable database of copyright-free video, pictures, and also audio. So audio beds, sound effects, all of that, and all of it is copyright-free. So in the past, I might have had students go to Google Images to go find pictures. Now my students are 100% just in this stock media. And you could tell this slide, or I could tell it was from a little while ago. This used to be the count of 450,000 photos, the clips and audio clips. Over the summer, they passed 1 million assets are in here of a searchable database that you could find anything that you're looking for. And again, it shows video, still clips, and also audio clips that you could use. And Kim, this is a tip to think about when we start using WeVideo. They do give you some music that you can use with a musical note, but you can go into the stock media and search for music, and you get a lot more choices than just going to the one little music icon. So you can search for music, you could search for lower thirds. There's a countdown in there, like a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like at the beginning of a video. There's chock full of things in there. And when my kids were in school, in my own classroom, right now my students are remote, probably every day I would be learning new things that this database has, because you don't really have an index for it. So you're searching for things and discovering them, as you're going. These are my 6 steps that I use when my students are creating a video for our news program. Very similar to the writing process of brainstorm, plan, research, go find good information for a voiceover. They don't do group projects. Now the collaboration tool, I might have them remotely, but they're just doing it on their own this year. Gather the media, upload media, edit, and share. So those are very simple steps to creating a video and publish it wherever you're going to share it to. And it talks to Google Classroom. So you can go right out of WeVideo, and as long as you have an assignment with the date, then you can have the students hand it in right from WeVideo going right to Google Classroom. This shows, if you've never seen what WeVideo looks like before, this shows it. This is your timeline down here, okay, with the different tracks, which I'm going to show you. You can rename. You don't have to have them called video 1, 2, 3. Here's the 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, and that's where some of these like hidden menus are, the different modes that we were talking about before. The next slide tells you this is the media window. So this is where all your media is going to exist. This is where you could do the playback and view in the preview mode. You could also play it back full screen if you wanted to. And then on the bottom is where you're doing all your editing. You have the playhead, that little line with the square on top, the blue square where you can cut and edit things in WeVideo. There's an effects bar, and this is where this stock media has been added to. It's not even on this effects bar at the time. This is an older graphic. And one note about WeVideo, and I'll show you when we get into it in a moment, is the time code is important, that the last 2 digits in the time code are frames, and there's 24 frames in a second. So for people to know, and also their students to know, that the last 2 numbers are not seconds, they're actually frames. I gave people, and I'm not going to go through all.
Oh, you mean the time? Are you talking about the time?
Yeah, I'm talking about, if I go back
length
to
of the video.
Slide, you see here where it says 2:02?
Yeah.
That's 2 seconds and 2 frames.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and in the way they have it set up, there's 24 frames in 1 second. So when it gets to 24, it will go like to the next second. And with the arrow key, you can get as finite as going frame by frame to edit and to cut things. Okay,
so when you go live, can you go back and mention that again and show it?
Definitely. Yep.
All right, cool.
The next one, I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are different resources that I use, and I'll show you the top one, and this will be helpful for your presentations that you're doing with your staff, Kim. This epic book of apps was from Christina Holweiss, who's a media specialist in Long Island. 50 educators from around the world wrote this book in Book Creator, and it's completely free. So if I click this, it takes a second to open. And do you see Book Creator opening, Kim?
Yeah, it's opening.
Okay, cool. I'm just double checking because it's on another tab. So if you go into this, and this is completely free, these are all of the topics, and wherever something's blue and underlined, it gives you all the directions for that app written in Book Creator. So I did the regular WeVideo section. My friend Jen Liban did the WeVideo green screen section. And if I click on this, it will take a moment to go to it. But eventually, it's going to go to my page that I created. And then within this, I have screencasts of how to do all of these different things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you shared that, because that resource, it really has a lot of information in there. So, and that link is in Bruce's presentation that I put in the chat. So
perfect.
Whoever has it, access to the chat, and it's already posted on the website, you'll have access to that epic book of apps as well.
And these, I'm really just going to more talk about. I mean, a lot of these you could spend a lot of time on, but WeVideo Idea Hub is their own idea, which is a searchable database online. We could search by grade level or curriculum area. WeVideo Academy is their online tutorials, which this is another one of my 4-year projects with them. I want them to change the name of Academy because it's just free WeVideo tutorials. And number 3 is the way that I learned how to use WeVideo. I watched all these 2-minute tutorials on green screen, title, music, whatever it may be. That link will take you right there. I have my own Wakelet school page, so you can see the curriculum I teach, and then a full Wakelet PD page. And in there is green screen resources, WeVideo, a whole bunch of things. And then my friend who's a WeVideo ambassador too, Karen Corsello, this is a link to her website. And she has an amazing site where she has full pages in Google Slides that take the students through choice boards. And all the choice boards are done there for you on what her curriculum is for broadcast production or multimedia. There's a whole bunch of them, and that's a great resource to have. Kim did mention before my book Scripted, our book Scripted, with Paula Niedlinger and Randall Tomes. The three of us use WeVideo, and in fact, WeVideo wrote a section of the book. Nathan Langrad wrote about WeVideo, how it could be used in the classroom within the book. And then at the very end, and I'll bring up his name again, if you're in New Jersey, this is Scott DeVore. He covers all of New Jersey, actually the whole East Coast. For WeVideo, if you're interested, he would be the person to contact. I love WeVideo's emails, Kim. They're not that complicated. Scott@wevideo.com is his email. And he will help you get started and customize a package for you if you're interested in that. And more importantly, one good tip is he can also help your school get a pilot where they would give you a full version for an amount of time. And the only thing they ask for is your feedback on how you were using it. So scott@gmail.com. I'm switching over now to wevideo.com on the website. The first important thing is if you are going to use it, don't sign up for free, because that puts you in the free version, which is also the light version. You want to go as an educator to the education tab. And here's where you want to do educators try WeVideo. And it will give you 30 days for free, and also, 30 seat licenses. So you can actually put your students' names in as users, to try it out and see how it goes. And all of they call them advanced features. You could use all of them by signing up here. Okay.
But
so
the features in the paid version they make a big difference though, Bruce. Like, I don't think I could go back to the free version of WeVideo now.
the light version, like, it limits you, and if you go to use the stock media and different things, it will work. And then when you go to share it or export it, it will ask you if you want to buy the full version.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go. I don't think I could go back to the free version. I got so used to the premium version now. So,
and it also will put, which, to some people it would bother or not, it puts a WeVideo watermark, like on the background, and it lets you do a limited amount of space every day. So maybe if you're doing like a 30-second public service announcement and just starting with it to test it out, it might be like a viable option. But if you're doing green screen and different layers and making it a little bit more complicated, you want the full version. Here's the Idea Hub that I gave you the link to before, just while I'm here, so you can kind of see it. Resources, lesson plans, inspiration. You can search by grade level. These are really great exemplars that you can look at. So I'm now going to spend about the next 15 to 20 minutes to log in myself and give you a tour of WeVideo. And then, Kim, I want to leave probably like the last 15 minutes if anybody has any questions, and we can answer them and show different examples on here. So when I go to log in, notice it works with all different products, Google, Facebook, Microsoft Office. Even I don't know anyone who uses Yahoo in schools, but for business, it works in Yahoo. I'm going to go in through my school Google account. And now this is what the dashboard looks like. So notice on here, and for me, it's kind of like a simple tool to do these four things. I can create videos with this. The recording are screencast, or just to record yourself. Animated GIFs or GIFs, whatever you like to say. And then the final option is podcast. A couple things to point out here. One, which is really important if you've never used this before, click on the question mark. If you click on the question mark, it takes you to these educational resources. Like a great one is there's a whole book in a Google Doc written a step-by-step guide, which especially in the beginning is helpful if you're doing it for the first time. You could have the directions in front of you. And the other thing, it's actually not in here. They used to have a tutorial in here too that you could do, but this takes you to the Idea Hub and the book. These are, and also the teacher guide is right here. These are the current recent edits that I've done. And along the top, if you've never used this, dashboard shows you everything in front of you. Projects are the current projects that I'm working on. Media is, you can upload media before you do your project. I usually go into a project and then upload the media. There's no wrong or right way, but you can upload the media beforehand. Exports are all the videos that you've done and you've exported. And then finally, groups is where you can group students together and be in their group so you could see exactly what they're doing. Notice I'm on a teacher account, so I don't have that last tab called admin. Your administrator in your building, whoever's in charge of it, they would be setting up, uploading all the Google accounts or Microsoft accounts so everybody could log in. There would be a tab right here for admin, but right now I'm logged in as a teacher, so I don't have that particular tab. So if I were starting from scratch, instead of going into video, recording, GIF, or podcast, this will open up in another project. So I like to start at projects first. And the other thing just to point out is you saw pictures of the templates. If I click Browse All, this shows all of the templates, and they keep adding new ones that are in here since I've done the slideshow. There's a lot of templates in here that you could pick. I love to use these for ideas, right? So Trio Top, I'm not even sure what that is, but if I click in it, it will teach me in a template how to do it, and then I could save it for myself. Okay, so they've added quite a bit, to these templates, since I've looked at them, and they have education you can go through. These are probably a lot of the ones that you've seen before. So those are where the templates are. Let me open up one of the templates actually, so you can kind of see it. If we were to open the one for a morning meeting, we could preview it or use it. If I preview it, here's a final product of what it would look like. And then if I would go to use it, it actually opens up in WeVideo, and the template would be there for me to start using it. And then you could start editing it, and all of the things that you just saw the video of, they're all done for you. I don't love these to start because if you've never used this before, now there's a lot of complicated things going on. So I'm actually going to show you, I always like to start in projects. And in the lower right-hand corner, there's a plus sign. I'm going to create a new project. And by the way, you could make folders for your projects too. I'm going to call this project GEG NJ sample. And you could put in a description if you like. These are the different choices that you saw before. Personal, collaborative, you see beta, so more than one person at a time can edit, or a shared where you're going to share out the information. I'm going to do a personal one just to show you. If I had media in here, I could add media, but I'm just going to click next. And I eventually want to create my video and just be on a blank screen, kind of like a blank piece of paper. Here's my palette for this. I'm actually going to go to view full screen, which is you probably want to do on a Chromebook if you have like a 12-inch screen. So it moves everything up. So now I could see those tracks, and I could see everything in front of me. So starting left to right, here's Kim, the 3 dashes, my snowman hamburger. If you click on this, it opens up a lot of different options. So you can keep resaving. Once we get started, if you wanted to see version history, And if you're an elementary teacher and you wanted to switch to storyboard mode, you would just click this and it would automatically take you into the storyboard mode. And then whatever I put in the storyboard mode, if I go back to timeline, it will just switch me to the other format, and it will allow me to do a bunch of other things. I'm going to take these 3 dots also and drag them to the right. So notice that makes my preview smaller, but I like to see everything in front of me when I'm working, all my different video tracks. And an important thing with these tracks is you're never going to add up to 50, but you could. But even if I just add one more in, there's 2 tracks, video track and audio track. So video track is for titles, videos, graphics. I'm going to add a track. And here's an important little tip, and I do this with especially 6th grade, but my 8th grade students too. You can rename these tracks. So the top track and the top layer always has to be text. So I'm just going to rename it text. The middle layer is going to be video or images. And the bottom layer, I'll also show you how you can use the backgrounds. So along with giving my students video directions, handed out directions, I could simply, and I do this, have them just rename the tracks, and then they know what goes in every single track. That's what I would do if I would add more tracks. Next up is the different tools that are here. Stock media is a searchable database. We're going to go to that in a second. My media would be media that I upload or import. I can also record the screencast or the video, or the microphone is just for audio and podcasting or voiceovers. I could add in different types of text or titles. If I click on one, it will play on the right. Here's where audio that I can add different free music, sound effects, and premium music, transitions between each clip, and the final menu up here is backgrounds. And we're going to use those in a moment. So if I were to build this for, let's say, GEG New Jersey, I'll start with text first, and I can go through all of these different titles. Notice they have in-season ones. So like, let's say if we wanted to make, I know they have Halloween, but Thanksgiving, I can drag this and I'm going to put it in the text track. I can click on it twice. And now I could fill this in, and I could change it from Happy Thanksgiving. You have to fill in both of the fields to, let's just say, if we say, welcome to GEG NJ. And I'm not going to go through the palettes with the colors and some of these other tools, but in here, you could certainly change some of them and save it. Okay, so I have welcome to GEG New Jersey. If I stay with the fall theme, I go to stock media, and I want to find some fall or autumn pictures. I'm just typing in fall and return. It goes through its database, and the videos are awesome. They really have fantastic videos, and these are all copyright free. So I kind of like that one, so I'll put that one right after my title. If I want to do a background, I could choose this type of background. And finally, I'll put in some music. Here's where I'm going to go to stock media. I don't know if this is going to work or not, Kim, but fall, instead of doing all, I'm going to look just for audio. And I could click this and listen to what it sounds like. These are things like falling, not so much of fall, or so maybe I'll put in autumn. Okay, I kind of like that. So I'll just drag that, and notice when I move this over a video track, it's showing me red. It won't work. But when I put the audio in the audio track, it's green. I can now take this and kind of trim it down, line everything up, play it in my little preview, And I might move my music under that too. And the only thing I have to do to see the background is click this twice and move this in, and then the background will also show. I'm also going to make the music a little bit longer. And then, Kim, I'm just going to show you 2 more things and then get out of here so we can answer some questions. Is if I click finish, this is how you would share it out. So I'm going to go to sample and click set. This is where you would do a video export, audio only, or if it was 45 seconds or less, an animated GIF, and send it right to my drive. And that's where it will go, and it will save to. And then hit export. Okay, final thing just to show you quickly, if I go back to the editor, if I wanted to do a green screen, here is the built-in green screen templates. I could actually have this show on this billboard. So I click twice. This is the green screen tool. Take it out and then put the video underneath it, and it will go and it will show on that billboard.
That's the workaround by not having a real green screen.
Exactly. And the only other thing I would do is if I click, notice how it doesn't really show the full video clip. I could click on this twice, and in the resize tool, I could go here and resize this so it fits perfectly on here. And save changes. The other thing, which was a new tool in there, if let me see if I could go to my own media. I could show you a good example of this. Is let's say this one of let's do the teacher instead of the student. This is the music teacher in my school. And if I click on this clip twice, the original video that she did was like this. If I want to crop her, which I was never able to do, here's where the cropping tool is, Kim, right next to the transform tool. And now I can crop her like super tight if she had too much headroom like that. And save changes. And now she's cropped super tight on there. And I might be able to fix a lot of headroom errors that might be on there. Okay, where there's a lot of room over video that somebody shot. I click on it twice. This is the new crop tool, and it works just like a regular crop tool would that you're using, on your phone. And if I was collaborating with you, Kim, you would see your little picture right to the left of this question mark, and then you would be able to edit this the same time as I would and add in video tracks or audio tracks. To the project. So I'm going to quit out of this, get out of full screen, and I'm actually going to stop sharing so I can just get back to the regular StreamYard. And that's tons of a lot of different things at once. I tried to go slow so people saw the tools that are in there. But you know this from all the Google tools and tech in general, Kim. The best way is just dive in and just move clips in and out and double click on the clips. If you put the cursor over what each one of the tools means, it will tell you, exactly what it does, and be as creative as you can. And all students, whether it's in that storyboard mode or the timeline mode, they're the YouTube generation, as we know, that none of the kids that we have now did not grow up with the internet. So they become the experts on it and pick up on it very quickly, that it's a simple video editor.
Yeah, well, 2 things I have to say. So I have to admit, when I first started YouTube, WeVideo, when I first met you last year, I don't know how long I know you, almost 2 years, maybe. I don't know. But when I first met you, you talked to me about WeVideo. You were on the Sweet Talk. You introduced it to me. I remember that very clearly. And I was so overwhelmed with the interface, like, because for me, it was just like a lot all in my face. But you have to get used to it. So don't be intimidated by the interface, because I think once you start slowly and do a little bit at a time, you'll get more comfortable with it. And then you'll end up expanding and making, more of a complex video, or even just let your students just do it and then they can show you, right, Bruce?
Yes, definitely. And if you've never used it before, I would go to that wevideo.com/academy, and it has all 2-minute tutorials on how to do green screen, how to add a title, how to adjust the music level. It gives you little tutorials, which I think are fantastic. And I'm a visual learner. That's the way I learned it myself, rather than reading like the manual on it or the teacher guide. I was just able to start and stop those videos and try to figure out as much as I could.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just kind of went at my own pace. So one other question I have for you, and then, I'm checking the chat. I don't see any questions in there, so I'm going to ask you a question. But if anybody has a question, please post it in the chat, and then I'll let Bruce know. So here's my question. So I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but I really don't know how to do this.
I'm ready to share my screen and show you. Go ahead.
So I'm in my project and I'm in the timeline mode, okay?
Okay.
And I made a Veterans Day presentation, right? So I wanted all of my clips, I'm going to call them, like, they were images that the kids made. I want them all to play the same length of time. So say I have a poem that a student wrote, I wanted to display on the screen, just say for 20 seconds. Okay. And then the next image that I added into the track, I wanted to play for 20 seconds. So each object media that I'm putting in the track plays the same amount of time.
Sure.
I'm in there dragging the actual media clip and resizing it. And then I'm taking the next one and I'm putting it on the track above it to make sure that it's the same length, so that it's consistent, and then I'll drag it back down to the track that I wanted. Is there an easier way to do that, or am
why didn't you call me or DM me?
Well, I mean, I'm asking you now.
Let me show you. I'm going to share my screen again so I could show you. There is if you add in more than one still graphic, it automatically will group them together. I'll show you. And it will ask you how many seconds you want each clip to be. And if you want the clip to also be animated, or like the Ken Burns effect from iMovie. So let me share away here again. And I'm going to go right into, log into WeVideo. I have to do this frequently, Kim, for the remote show that we do. If like the guidance department sends me a ton of pictures, let me just go into, I'll go back to our sample. Like tons of pictures, and then to put them together for, whatever is happening in the school. I can actually go to guidance department. I think I have a folder for them. Nothing yet from this year. Okay. I'm just looking for a bunch of still clip. All right, let's do it with a couple of these pictures of some of these teachers. If I go in here, and Kim, I'm holding the shift key down, so I could click on this first teacher and then click on the next clip, and it groups it together. See how?
Wait, do that again, because I was responding to somebody in the chat. Bye, Jean. Do that again real quick.
Okay. I'm actually going to do it with guidance department. This is better because it's not pictures of people. Let's say, for example, I want this uprising quote on the left So see how it has the thin blue line around it when I go over it?
Yeah.
And then I'm holding down the shift key and I go down to, well, I select that and then I go down to the next row and click again.
Right.
It now has grouped all of those clips together. So I didn't have to, I would upload all the students' work or pictures, then copy them all together in a group and let go. And then the photo options is going to come up.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
And now
So,
I wanted to make them all 20 seconds. I could do that and click done. And now they're all exactly 20 seconds.
huh. Okay. I didn't know that. That's a good, I didn't know that.
The other really important tool, which I didn't talk about actually, is in the bottom right-hand corner. Sometimes it's hard to see. There's a little blue circle. If I drag that all the way to the left, I like to see all of the work in front of me. But if I'm editing inside of something down to a certain frame, I might take this and drag it to the right, but you see how things go off the screen? But you can also be very precise. Like this is 1 minute, 35 seconds and 13 frames. I'm hitting the arrow key. This is going back 1 frame at a time. And this
Gotcha.
is
Okay.
pictures.
So that's kind of like a zoom in tool, right?
Exactly. So if I'm editing something really finite, I want to zoom out. But if I'm looking at the whole project, I like to start all the way, zoomed all the way in. So if I add music, I could see all of the music, the track, exactly where it goes. Sometimes if I'm zoomed out a little bit, like you kind of lose track of where everything is because you're too zoomed in. So I start all the way zoomed in and then zoom out when I need to. I think sometimes when students go in and even teachers, it might be zoomed like a quarter or halfway. And a lot of people, when they first start using it, they're like, why are things going off the screen? And that little blue circle is important to drag it to the left, or you can also just hit the minus and it will start zooming it closer for you. I usually just go to the circle. But that's how I group the pictures together, and then it does the time. Also, if let's say I had to move all these pictures because they were in the wrong place, if I hold the cursor down and I go straight through this, see how they're all turning green?
That I learned too.
Yeah,
that
they're all
figured
grouped
out.
together, so you don't have to move the things one at a time.
That I figured out on my own. You should be proud of me.
I'm always proud of you.
But the other tip, no, I didn't know that you could do that. So that's awesome. When you're editing, like, and you're like OCD like that, you want things to be consistent. Like I'm trying to figure out if it's in the pencil or in the edit mode of the clip or somewhere, and like there's got to be an easier way, you know, and I couldn't figure it out. So I'm glad that I asked you tonight.
I think if you took them and dragged them down, that window opens automatically. But if you ever forgot, I think you can highlight all of them and right or control click, and then that little photo thing comes up and asks you how many seconds you want all of those things to be consistent.
Okay. And another thing was, like, I experienced too was like I was making my son's wedding using WeVideo. So I put, you know, all the media in there and everything. And then when I added transition to the pictures, it chopped off the time that my picture was displayed. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. So I like the fade feature of the clip instead of the transition because I like the effect better, and then it didn't take away from the time that the clip or the image was displayed on the video.
Right. Well, what happens is when you put those in, you can even right-click on those transitions and control the amount of time that they're playing. But the default, I think, is like 1 second. But that takes a half a second from the clip on the right and a half a second on the left. So I'm not a big fan of using like a lot of transitions if you're making a video, depending on what effect you want it to have. You probably use the best tool of just fade it in slowly, and it doesn't really chop anything off.
Yeah, it didn't chop the time off from the image, and I actually liked the effect much better than using the actual transition options or features that are in there. To me, it's too much. Like there was too many things going on. I like simple, like,
I agree. And especially
so
to enjoy the video or the pictures from the wedding, and you don't want the transitions to distract you. Some of them do all different things. So yeah, I know I could totally see that.
yeah, definitely. So that's another little workaround that I found during this time of virtual teaching.
Cool.
So,
Do you-
as the more you use it, the more you learn it. So, start small and then gradually work your way into it, and then, challenge yourself a little bit. So, and if there's anybody that needs anything, the WeVideo community is great. Like, there's so many people in that community that can help. Even on Twitter, there's so many people you can, tweet to Bruce or myself, and there's somebody there that can always help.
If we don't have any more questions, because we have till 8 o'clock, right? I'll go back in. I'll show you a couple more things that maybe you don't realize that WeVideo can do. So let me share away.
No questions in the chat. Everyone is good. So
Okay, cool. So here's something that maybe you didn't realize that I didn't even realize until we did the remote show last year, is if I wanted to put other video below this, below like these different sayings, I'm just going to take this video clip here. And actually, I'm going to reverse them. So I'm going to highlight all these and move them down. And let's say if I want, these are all like positive sayings, which is great. Let's say if I want this to be over it, but now, obviously, if I go to play it, like I'm just going to see the picture of that water. Now watch this. If you go and you click on the clip and you click on this first little pencil, it will take you to these different tools. Might be the second little pencil. Do you know that there's opacity in here, that you could make the picture lighter so all those sayings could show over the water?
no, I didn't know that.
So if I start decreasing the opacity, and I did this last year when kids were like singing in a concert and then they had like a background behind them, I decrease the opacity enough and you play around with it that when I go to play this, now these sayings are playing over the water in the background.
Oh, okay. That's a cool tip. No, I never knew that.
Right. And then as you go along, I would move these to, whatever you're comfortable with showing, with the opacity tool. It's a pretty neat, like if you're showing the American flag and then you're showing, pictures of the country, you could do, really cool things with opacity like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
The other thing that I show the students all the time is if they put the music in, let's just go to regular audio and just get a piece of music that we can, put in here. So I drag it down. I see that it's green. That's where it goes. Is to click this little speaker that's to the left of the garbage or the trash can. And there's no number that's correct, but usually I like to fade it in and out. The S is seconds. So this way, when the music plays in the beginning, it doesn't come in very loud. And then more importantly, at the end, wherever I fade it down just becomes the end of the song. So if I move this all the way in, so this is going to play, it will fade up. And then when I get to the end here, it will just fade down wherever the cursor becomes two arrows. I could resize this. And then it will naturally fade out even though the song isn't over. Right, so that makes the music sound a little bit nicer. And one more thing, and then I think we're almost out of time. If I do the text tool, I like a lot of the static things instead of the motion things. They have a citation tool. They have end credits. If we put the end credits at the end of this and click twice and highlight all of this and put thank you for watching, or the credit of, where the things came from. I'll make this bigger so everybody could see. is that's just a regular text tool. If I go to animation, I can move this down for the start and move it all the way up to the top for the end. And now it's going to scroll up like a movie.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that effect.
And then the only other thing I do sometimes is move this layer down. Let's take this nice little scene we have here. I click this twice and resize it. And then I'm going to resize it so it will show to the left or right of the credits. So I'll roll credits, and you know, like they show at the end of movies, they'll show the bloopers.
Yeah.
You actually have this play. So now this is scrolling up, and then as it's scrolling up, something's playing on the left or the right.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Right, a little bit of a different.
That's something different. Or you can even do the opacity on that as well, right?
Exactly. I think I've done this year when we did one of the remote shows. We'll do like students' birthdays, so I would be playing the credit, like video or pictures in the middle of students, and then with those scrolling credits, I just have them go over to the left, so they're over the black, and then very slowly, like all the student birthdays would show, or whatever you want to show, you know, in the closing credits.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great tip to do as well. I love using the end credits because it's like a movie, you know. It just finishes it up like a movie, and you know, you're done. So, you know, everyone's familiar with the credits and how it works. So I like that feature a lot.
They also had in there, which I'm going to begin to use, I didn't notice it might be, is a citation tool. So if you wanted them, a lot of times I'll just have them cite the source in the regular credits rolling, but I noticed there was a citation tool that students could go in. It probably gives them the different formats if they want to cite, you know, where they got their information from at the end of their project. It's another thing, you know, that's in there.
That was on the text slide, on the text.
Yeah, when you go into text, the second folder is called static.
Yeah.
And then that's where the end credits was. That's where the citations was. I also use that lower thirds because it opens up as a paragraph. And then if students write more than one sentence, like it has a color behind it, and it's like easy to see instead of
easier. Yeah.
And you can't see it.
Yeah, some things are just meant to be simple. You know, I do like that. I do like that effect as well. Like something small in the bottom of the corner, like the object that you just mentioned. I like that because it's easy. It's not. Sometimes you're not looking for the bells and whistles. You just want something like, you know, simple and done, you know.
You would like the storyboard mode because it doesn't let you do some of those other things. It just lets you put in the basics.
No, I mean, like sometimes there's a purpose, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree, yeah.
You know, like sometimes you just want like a caption and you need something or a citation at the bottom, and you just need that little simple text box or whatnot. Right. You don't need to have, you know, images floating all around and everything. I like that it has that. That's my point.
No, I agree. And if you go to that static folder, even though the text is not moving, you can add the Ken Burns effect or animation to it, and you can make that move from left to right, up and down. You can still make it move wherever you want, but you're manually telling it where to move instead of the motion titles are kind of, you know, little templates. I mean, they only go for a certain number of seconds, and the text boxes that open only let you put so many words in them. So they're not great for having sentences for facts or extra information. A lot of times my students will put like in their reports of, they don't have it in the voiceover, different facts, but they'll add it as titles, lower thirds. And then as someone's watching it, they're hearing it, reading it, and viewing it at the same time.
Yeah, I agree. I like sometimes I like simple. So those are all great tips. Thanks, Bruce, for sharing. I appreciate it.
There's a lot for, you know, simplicity. That's like, you know, a lot of Apple things, and everything now is just touchscreen, and it is very simple and user friendly to do. So no, I agree with you. And
it's nice that it has like those options, like, you know, simple, and then there's the bells and whistles, and then there's a lot in between, and you can really use all those tools to come out with your own personality to showcase, your media. So, there's no right or wrong. It's your creativity that you're really showcasing. So
I think also too, a lot of times it comes down to time, of how much time the students have for an assignment, or as you get into it, do you have 3 weeks to put together a wedding video, or do you have 3 days? And you could spend 3 weeks on it and go
yeah,
night through like every single frame and every single thing, which is awesome. And as you discover more things, that's how the video editing kind of works. You could spend a lot of time on it and be very, very picky if you have the time, or if you have a short amount of time, you could be very simplistic and put it together and still, come out with a really nice product.
exactly. I'll have to share my son's wedding video with you so you could see what
Okay.
I did, because I'm like, I got to get into this. Like I've been so busy with, everybody's been so busy at work, but I've been so like consumed with troubleshooting. I said, I'm going to take his wedding and I'm going to put it in WeVideo, and I'm really going to dive into it and like, explore more of the interface and the options and features. And I'm glad I did, because
Hmm.
since then I created, some projects at school now, and I feel a lot more comfortable with it. And, it's a learning. You're always learning something new. So
Yeah,
it's,
no,
it's,
definitely.
it's always good.
And I think, as experienced as anybody is as a medium or pro user, anytime you're using anything that's brand new, even for myself, I'll use like Zoom as an example. Before last March, I never really used it. And the first 3 or 4 times I'm using it, I'm trying to get rid of this bar here or that bar there. And you don't know until you kind of dive into it and use it. And I think we're all taken back to that like uneasy feeling that you're not really sure what you're doing, but just keep clicking through and hopefully you find, the answer. And now in my district, we use Zoom. So I use Zoom 6 times a day, and I'm like very comfortable with it, but not when I first started.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I hear you. Well, man, I tell you what, Bruce, this was a great show. I'm so thankful that you came on and really went over WeVideo and so many great ways of using it and how you use it in your class, and the resources that you shared and going through it live. It was really beneficial. There was quite a few people watching. We got some comments, and it was great. So thank you so much for being the GEG New Jersey November event guest tonight.
No, my pleasure. And I have at B Reicher on there through Twitter and breicher@gmail.com. Definitely, if anybody's out there, email me, DM me, send me a message. And really, with Zoom and other screen sharing, all the time, I have people that I'll conference with, like just like this, and just like we shared the screen tonight. That I'm happy to help if someone is stuck. But no, thank you so much, and thank you for mentioning. This is our book, scriptededucators.com is the website. And I'm excited that in next week, we're actually going to be launching a radio station, a student radio station on the scriptededucators.com website, which is a big part of the book, along with doing video, also doing audio. So thank you so much for mentioning that. And always fun coming on and spending time sharing stuff with you, and paying it forward myself.
Paying it forward. That's it. I got to remember I'm the GEG New Jersey person tonight, not the Sweet Talk. But it's all the same. We're all paying it forward. I did on. I'm like, no, it's not the Sweet Talk. It's the GEG New Jersey event. All right, Bruce. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thanks for being on tonight, Bruce. This video and Bruce's presentation will be available at the GEG New Jersey website. And if you know what, let me share my screen real quick.
Great.
So I can show people where it is. Okay, so let me make sure. Can you see my screen? Nope, you're not seeing my screen. Hold on, I got to get to the other monitor. There we go. All right, so this is our GEG New Jersey website. All right, and it's a Google site. So if you go to sites.google.com/view/GEG-New Jersey, you'll be able to come up to the website. And all of the episodes that we do live stream are available on the episode resource page. And the presentation link that Bruce shared tonight is here, in addition to the YouTube video from this event as well. So you can always check in with upcoming events to see what else we're going to be doing each month. Our community is growing. We do have a Twitter account. Just follow GEG at GEG New Jersey. We do have a GEG New Jersey Facebook group and a Google group as well. So you can follow and join those groups as well. And, you know, basically that's it. So with that said, that's our website and that's the information. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to myself, Kara, or Ted. We're on Twitter, or you can, you know, email us or email, you know, our gegnewjersey@gmail.com. All right. Well, that concludes our show. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Bruce.
No,
I'll see you next time. I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.